to say welcome and thank you to all of you for joining us for another episode of the Jain Irrigation Training Series. I'm Richard Restuccia, Vice President of Water Management Solutions. And today we're going to talk about a subject that I'm really excited to be talking about, and it's water management consulting services at Jain. This is a service that Jeff and his team really started a little bit more than a year ago. It was in response to helping growers learn technology for water management, as well as a way to reduce costs, labor costs in particular, around water management. Well, I got to tell you, it has been exciting to watch the development and what has happened with Jeff and his team. And in December, they learned that they won the new product contest from the Irrigation Association in the specialty agricultural irrigation category. And this is a big win, right? The Irrigation Association is a worldwide recognized association for irrigation. And that's really great to hear that Water Management Consulting Services won that award. So Jeff, congratulations. Jeff Toole is with us today. He is the Executive Vice President and the thought leader for Jain Technology on the agricultural side. Jeff's done a lot of these webinars with us, and he's always fun to talk to and hear from. And he's got a lot to say this week about water management consulting services. So again, Jeff, welcome and congratulations on a big win.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so there is a lot of competition to win that award, and you guys came out on top. How in the world did you pull that off?
You know, I wish I could say I pulled it off, but I was just honored to accept the award. This win was truly a team effort, and I think unlike other entries, the WMS was not the result of a newly developed technology. It was the result of our team really stepping back and listening deeply to what growers needed, and then integrating our existing long proven technology with hands-on consulting services. But I have to say, I think the real credit goes to the growers.
Yeah, I think that's great to hear. And one thing that I love that you said is the consulting service, because I've seen a lot of other people say, "Oh yeah, we have water management services too. Just read the chart." And it's not even anywhere near what you guys are doing from the consulting side and providing this input to growers on a very regular basis and really assisting them throughout the year. And so one thing I'm wondering though is oftentimes, and I agree with you, but why do you say the credit goes to the growers?
It's we are so fortunate. We literally talk with growers every single day and have some pretty amazing relationships that we're very proud of. So when we asked how we could better help, they openly shared their needs with us. And I'm proud because instead of only trying to sell them on our technology, we listened. And we created a hybrid consulting service that includes the technology and expertise on how to most effectively use the technology to achieve the results that the growers told us that they were looking for. So really, without these relationships, we would have never developed water management consulting services.
Yeah, and really, as I talk to people in the industry, I hear a lot, "Oh, hey, congratulations, you guys, for winning this award." They say, it's a service that's been needed for a long time, but you guys were the first to actually do it. And I think that's really commendable that you took that step, right? There's risk in taking that step, but you guys did it and had a really successful first year. What do you think separates the water management consulting services that you offer from the competition?
I think there are really two very unique elements that differentiated us. The first is our inclusion of a distribution uniformity test on the front end to make sure the grower's irrigation system is up to par. And if it's not, then the grower would be better served to first invest in irrigation system improvements. The fact is, even if we created a perfect irrigation schedule, running it in a field with poor distribution uniformity would result in most plants being over and underwatered. It's kind of like putting a new high efficiency air conditioner in your house when the house has poor insulation and drafty windows. I would say the second element is our focus on educating the grower on how to use the technology by working with them through the consulting service. Our ultimate goal is to turn them into power users, transfer the technology over, and enable them to produce their own optimized irrigation schedules. So, get a little biblical here to paraphrase a quote. If we give someone a fish and we feed them for a day, but if we teach them to fish, we can feed them for life.
I love that. And I love that whole concept of, I call it coaching, right? Anytime I've learned a new sport or, new subject, I get a tutor, or learning a new sport, or if I want to accelerate my learning or my ability to get better at doing something, having that coach, having that tutor just makes it so much easier, makes things happen so much faster, and then really gives me the confidence that what I'm doing is the right thing, because I've got an expert here telling me, yep, you're understanding it, you're doing this exactly the way you should. So I think that's fabulous.
Absolutely. So today I'm going to share the presentation, the actual presentation we made to the IA evaluation panel. And, I think this is a great case for less is more. I'm not known as a less is more kind of guy, but I think this really proved the point. I only have 3 slides and a short video today, and I really hope our audience today after the presentation, agrees Water Management Services is an innovative, unique, and effective program to help growers sustainably save the scarce water we were just talking about. The costly inputs, and those costs are rising, while at the same time increasing yields using intelligent irrigation. So if you're okay, I'll go ahead and start my presentation.
Yeah, we're excited to see it.
Absolutely. Okay. So the centerpiece of Water Management Services, or WMS as we call it, is our industry-leading Jain Logic software. Jain Logic is a cloud-based software that utilizes both artificial intelligence and machine learning to synthesize multiple data inputs into the most grower-friendly agronomic tools available today. The foundation of WMS is the close partnership. Oh, sorry about that. Let me get that back. I was having a little trouble with this before. Yep, I will get it going here. Oh, I'm not going to get my normal animation here, but I wanted this because it looks so good. Okay.
Get the timing back on pace here, Jeff.
I'm waiting to see if it will. There we go. Okay. So the foundation of WMS is the close partnership between the Jain Water Manager and the grower. This is not your typical hardware sale. Excuse me. It starts with a distribution uniformity assessment of the irrigation system. We require recommendations for DUs less than 85%, as I had previously mentioned. And, to explain the service, I really want to start with a simple depiction of evapotranspiration in a field, in this case by a tree. High resolution satellite observations of the evapotranspiration and vigor, or NDVI, are fed weekly into Jain Logic. Next, we use soil moisture probes and pressure sensors to monitor soil moisture and applied irrigation. These inputs give us insight into the moisture content and movement in the soil profile, as well as the timing and duration of the irrigation events. Next, we use a sophisticated weather forecasting model to determine the crop water requirements for the coming week. So at this point, we know the prior week's crop water consumption, how much water is in the soil, and the coming week's weather forecast. We've also met with the grower to get their field observations and any horticultural plans for the week. The Jain Water Manager analyzes all of this unique combination of critical elements and creates an intelligent irrigation schedule for the coming week, including daily run times. This interaction allows knowledge to flow in both directions, really resulting in a much more educated grower and really important, an irrigation schedule that is more likely to be implemented. This is a simplified version of the last slide. It ties the elements together into a closed loop cycle that revolves around the water manager and the grower relationship. So going around the cycle, we start with plant response observations, where you see the actual satellite images for ETC and NDVI uniformity. Here we are looking at plant health, water consumption with an emphasis on week-to-week changes that indicate either positive progress or potential areas of concern. Moving around the cycle, a forecasted runtime is calculated within Jain logic that takes into consideration the crop KC, forecasted ETO, environmental factor, DU, and the irrigation system application rate. And this gives us a great starting point for the irrigation schedule. But before we get there, we look at soil moisture infiltration and moisture levels to ensure the prior week's irrigation landed in the target root zone. Lastly, we assess the year-to-date performance of applied water versus observed ETC to make sure we're on track with the crop's water requirements. The feedback loop shows the resulting final irrigation schedule is created. Short, right? I'll wrap up with a few points on how WMS meets or exceeds the IA new product contest judging criteria. How is WMS innovative? It's a first of its kind integration of hardware, software, and hands-on weekly consulting service. An unprecedented combination of satellite data, weather, soil moisture, and machine learning. A core goal of WMS is to radically educate growers through continuous interactive consulting sessions. We found that ag tech adoption fears are eliminated through this level of partnership. Water resource use efficiency is achieved through the distribution uniformity assessment, irrigation optimization using intelligent scheduling, and the continuous feedback loop of performance monitoring and reporting. The WMS service model, where Jain maintains all field hardware and provides continuous support, essentially gives a lifetime warranty for as long as the grower continues the service. We knew on this program, we knew we hit the nail on the head with WMS when we offered a 100% money back guarantee to all 10 of our introductory growers, and not one of them took us up on it. And so now that you know what Jain Water Management services are, let's hear from growers that used WMS this past season. We have a short video of 3 growers that had never used any Jain technology before this past season. And so I will start this video.
Hi, I'm Rick Alvarez from Mountain View Almond Farms in Crows Landing, California. We farm 160 acres of almonds, and we're very happy with the Jain Water Management Services.
I'm James McFarland. I am General Manager of Red Banks Farming Incorporated. We operate approximately 1,100 acres in the Clovis and Sanger areas.
My name is David Freya from Freya Farms. I farm 60 acres of almonds. I farm Nonpareil, Carmel, Butte, and Monterey.
A couple years ago, we started using sensors with another service. All we did was get our irrigation schedule just working off of sensors. It wasn't as in-depth as we're doing today.
What I think we have now is a larger view of the indicators we need in order to do accurate irrigation scheduling.
Now you're using in-orchard ETs, so you know exactly what's going on block to block, and with the satellite, you know how the vigor's working. You'll be able to see if something's going wrong with maybe a line's turned off, maybe you've got a leak somewhere. You can see all that week to week with the satellite.
Jain's helped me to maintain my drip. I've learned how to conserve water, how much water to put on, and then I've learned how much water we are putting on my trees. Before, I would have just irrigated 12 hours and then shut it off, and then irrigated another 2 days and shut it off.
The product we're getting from Jain is well structured. The information's provided is, I think, not overly technical. It's as easy to understand for technical information as I've ever seen.
Once you get the report every week, you take a look at it, you start figuring out your schedule, what's going on day to day. If you're going to be sweeping or if you're going to be doing something, you maybe have to adjust the schedule to that. But other than that, it's basically taking a look at the report, matching it up with what you're seeing out in the field and going from there.
You saw kind of what I needed and said, well, maybe we don't need to go to the top. We can go in here somewhere at a level that would provide that extra information and hopefully that extra comfort level, that extra precision that I was looking for.
Being able to tell in this orchard what the ET is in this orchard and in individual blocks, so you can schedule your water. Then as you're irrigating, you can monitor how deep it's going, make sure you're not off by a little bit, and you need to because of soil changes or things like that, you may have to change your schedule so you're not penetrating too slow or going through too fast. You may have to change your schedule, and you can see it real time, and that makes a huge difference. You cannot manage your water and manage your irrigation without something, and having the combination of everything together and putting the whole picture all together, that's the biggest thing.
Jeff, what a great video. I love hearing from those three growers, and just want to mention that they are on our YouTube channel. If people want to watch that after, they can always go to the Jain USA YouTube channel and watch that again. Jeff, it's amazing, right, to me that they explained it so well, basically what you guys do. And in its simplest form, you're using technology, satellite imaging, soil moisture sensors, ET data, you're setting a schedule, you're executing the schedule. At the end of the week, you're reviewing how effective that schedule was, you're making adjustments, and you're doing it all over again the next week. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's really fundamental. It was something that was brought up in with the IA, is that we weren't really, there's no smoke and mirrors here. There's nothing untried or unproven that we're doing. We're taking tried and true fundamentals of soil, water, plant relationships, and just taking that data and putting it in to a consulting service where we can help the growers learn how best to use that. So absolutely.
Yeah. So Jeff, if I don't have access to water management consulting services, and I don't have the technology as far as soil moisture meters or telemetry units, how do I do this?
You contact Jain, you contact one of our guys, Connor, Damian, David, myself. All of the information is on our website. It's really easy to get a hold of us. I really would encourage, everyone to go to Jain's website, look under Jain Monitoring and Control. We have our full list of products and services, the solutions that we provide, and we'd love to hear from you. And we're also going to be at the World Ag Expo coming up first week of February. Lord willing, we'll have some good weather, and we'd love to see some growers out there and talk more about it.
Yeah, because really, if I don't contact you and I don't have that information, I really can't do it. There is no real practical way to do what you guys are doing. Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of the growers we talked to, including some of the gentlemen that were on the video there, and then we had a lot of other growers that would have said the same things, and we just you can't squeeze in everybody into a short video. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Jeff, great first year. Won the new product contest. I know you've got some good ideas for 2022, and things are going to be even improving more. What are some of the things we can look forward to in 2022?
We're going to continue to expand the program. It's a great question. We've thought about this quite a bit. We had one grower this last season that we trialed WMS with that they wanted us to incorporate automation into the consulting service. And we really didn't want to go that far with the introductory period. But, in this case, the grower really wanted to be able to implement the scheduling recommendations precisely, rather than rely on the field staff to start and stop the pump. And for him, this was especially important to be able to control his infiltration with shorter, more frequent run times and pulse type irrigations. So what we did is we installed some additional hardware at his pump station to automatically control the pump. And then we could match the schedule that was produced through WMS to the scheduler that would automatically start and stop the pump. So this year, we're going to offer automation as part of WMS, where growers, where they want to be able to implement more precise scheduling. And honestly, the big thing to go after here too is just reducing their labor costs. Labor went up again, another $1 this year. So labor is becoming, it's been on growers' minds. It's always on everybody's minds. And this year in particular, with the rise in labor cost, as well as a reduction of hours before you get into overtime hours, it's going to make this even a little more difficult. So we're really excited about offering, this automation piece onto water management services. And it gets us one step closer to autonomous irrigation, which is kind of, the ultimate goal there.
Yeah, I think that's so right. And the thing I think about when it comes to costs and labor is that overtime, right? When I started to look at that, when I started to pencil out what that was going to cost in addition, it was pretty shocking. And then, what's happening with your inputs like nitrogen this year, I'm looking for ways I can cut my costs, that's for sure. And Water Management Services really does that for me.
Definitely. One of the things that we want to offer as part of the webinar for any of the folks that are listening in today, that if you mention the webinar when you're talking to one of our account managers and you sign up for Water Management Services with automation, we want to offer for any signups in the next 30 days or so a $10 per acre discount. So it's a pretty significant discount, but it's something we feel good about. We're super excited and feel really confident about the automation side. It really gets the grower one step closer. We had a number of growers where infiltration was an issue, and we really wanted them to run shorter irrigations more frequently, and they couldn't do it because they didn't have the manpower or didn't want to spend the money on the manpower to break up those irrigations. So, they knew what the situation was, and with automation, they would be able to do that without having to expend the labor cost.
That's great. Now we have a couple of questions coming in before we close, Jeff. And
Sure.
one person's asking, is this expensive? Is this service expensive?
Depending on the number of acres, it's priced based on the number of acres for the field that is the service is being rendered for. And it could go anywhere from, $35, $40 an acre, up to $60 an acre. And then if we do automation and we have to add in more equipment, then we basically will do a custom quote in that case. And, to see exactly what's necessary, because you just can't pick a price for automation. There's just so many different things. Does a grower have a VFD? Are there valves that they want automated? Is there fertigation that they want automated? I mean, we can do all of that. It's just a matter of how far the grower wants to go, and we hope all the way, and we're ready for that.
Yeah. Well, at those original, those first couple numbers you gave off, $10 off, that's a significant discount. So I hope people are listening and will take advantage of that. The other question we've got coming in, Jeff, is if I take advantage of water management consulting services from Jain, do I have to go out and buy a lot of equipment?
With WMS, you don't buy any equipment. So the service, the numbers I was talking about, if you were just doing the straight water management service consulting, and let's just say your acreage, you came in at $40 an acre, that would include all of the hardware that's necessary for the monitoring and delivery of the schedule. It would include the setup of that. It would include the DU test of the field. It would include all of the weekly reports and interactions, with our WMS professional. So there's really nothing else out of your pocket. And then of course, we have already had some of the growers that they built enough confidence after this first season that they're going to they're buying out the equipment that we put in the field. As a matter of fact, they're buying more equipment to put in other fields to continue just to do it on their own. So we'll work with you in that way as well, because some growers, they like the service and they want to continue that, and others rather do it themselves. And we give you both options.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see that actually come to fruition, where you're turning it over to them.
Yeah.
And it just means more water savings and more new customers for Jain to consult with.
Yeah, I could tell you a little bit of a funny story just because we've got a minute or two here. Is at one of the meetings with one of our WMS growers at the end of the season, Damien was one of our top WMS professionals, was talking with this grower, and I was there, and he started out the conversation. The grower started out the conversation by informing us that he was not going to be going forward with WMS for the next year. And I could see the look on Damien's face. His heart sunk, his eyes dropped, and he got pretty worked up. But this grower, I know him, he's a great guy. He let him off the hook and said, that's because I'm going to be buying out the equipment, and I learned enough, this season, and I'm actually going to be expanding, the services into some of my other fields. But I just don't feel like I need WMS at this point with everything you guys taught me this first season.
I love that story. That's a real success story for everybody there. Now, in 2022, Jeff, are you going to be offering your money back guarantee again?
We have, and I don't see why we wouldn't. I think we have enough confidence there in what we're doing, and given this last year, the success that we enjoyed, and in that success, it didn't come easy. It's a lot of hard work. The guys that are working on producing these schedules on a weekly basis, there's a big push once a week, to pull in the data, run the numbers, produce the schedules, and then interact with the growers. So yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't continue that.
And one last question from one of our viewers, and that is, can I only talk to my consultant once a week, or can I call them, text them, email?
I think if some of our guys are listening in, I say my guys for the water management services, they would laugh and say, I wish I would only get called once a week. And so, it varies. It depends on what's going on from, the time of year, time of seasons. I think there are weeks where, somebody might, get called a couple, 3 times, with questions. I'm getting ready to spray. Can we push this irrigation? We would get calls of, I'm seeing the moisture on the charts from the soil moisture probes, but I don't feel like, I've got that much water in there, because we might be telling them to hold off or delay irrigation. So in that case, we might have to go out and dig a hole, with the grower and build confidence, and they would see that was there. And so, yeah, there's really no intended limit for interaction. We're there to help.
Yeah, that's fantastic to hear, Jeff. Congratulations again on your award. I think that's fantastic. Congratulations to your entire team, and of course the customers who deserved it as well. Yeah, tremendous job today sharing this information with us. So thanks very much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I want to say thank you to all the viewers. First live webinar of the year, and appreciate you guys being back. Remember, you can see all of our trainings at the jainsusa.com/trainings page at our website. There's well over 125 trainings there today that you can see. You can also listen to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. We're out there as well. And it's really fun to see how many people are listening as they're working. And it's really gives us a lot of hope for the future, knowing that people are taking education seriously and doing a better job with water conservation. We are going to be back on Friday, and I love that you mentioned this about the scheduling and distribution uniformity, because we've got Ingy Bisconner and Tom Duvall back Friday, and they're going to be talking about which is more important, distribution uniformity or scheduling. So that should be really fun for everybody to see. Jeff, thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Yep,
Hope
absolutely.
you have a good rest of the day, and thank you to all of you who joined today. We'll
Thanks,
see you on
everyone.
Friday. Thank you.